Guys, what is going on? And welcome back to the KANTO Conversations. Got a really exciting episode for you. We're going to be talking about our biggest mistakes in Pokemon. We're going to be looking at what we're going to be spending if we had $1,000 to spend in the hobby. And then, of course, we're going to be talking about overrated, underrated. But before we get into any of that, let me introduce my co-host, Connor, over at Rock Pokemon. Connor, say what's up.
What's up, guys? Hope everyone's having a good week. We have missed you. We are glad to be back with another episode. We love chopping it up. We're so glad you guys like to listen to us. And yeah, I'm ready to rock. It's going to be a fun one. So how
Awesome,
are you doing,
man.
Rob?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. For those of you who don't know, I was kind of talking with Connor a little bit, before the call. And I don't know how many of you guys are vaxxed or not. And we're not going to get into that topic. I don't want to see it in the comments, nothing like that. But I'm going to Hawaii in January. And so I ended up getting my first shot for travel purposes and whatnot. And it's been really affecting me, so kind of coming out on the other end. Finally, the fog is kind of lifted a little bit, and I'm really excited to dive into this. So it should be a good one. I guess we'll just jump right in, dude.
Yeah, man.
I know we were texting back and forth saying that, hey, I'm pretty conservative, I try not to overextend, therefore I don't have too many mistakes, but we all got a few. So
Yes,
what are
we
the
do.
skeletons in the closet that you want to get out in front of the viewers today, man? Tell us a little bit about your mistakes.
Oh, man. I think it's so hard. I made a list. I think that, gosh, where do I want to begin? One of the things for me that's so hard is the balance of collecting and selling. And now, like with the how the market's changed, where even after retraces, like prices are obviously just so elevated compared to what they used to be, right? Pre-pandemic.
Crazy.
Like, multiples, right? 5, 10X's on most things. And, out of that comes, it's really hard for me to bifurcate like my inventory and my collection. And so I'd say one of the, if you want to call it a mistake, and it is from if you're looking at this as like an investment or a business or flipping or what have you, is that to a fault, I only buy things that I like and that I'm willing to get stuck with. So for example, I hate Ancient Mew, right? I hate that card.
What?
But I'm sorry, guys. I know it's weird, but I don't like that card at all. I don't like that card at all. I had one random copy of it in my collection that I sold in, I don't know, November maybe or whatever for some stupid price.
Dude, that's our childhood in a nutshell right there. One card sums it up.
No, this is my childhood in a nutshell. Himeno, Charmander. But no, I know what you mean. But like, I know guys who have, bought and graded hundreds of those, right?
Oh, yeah.
And have like, buying them for nothing, grading them for $7, selling them for whatever the heck they've gone for, between 50 to, I think, who knows how much 10 goes for now, but
dude, a couple hundred, I think. Like,
yeah,
definitely
like
over 100.
But anyway,
it's not a card I keep up to date on, but definitely over 100. I'd be willing to bet.
Although we should, because it's really like kind of the pulse of the new entrance to the hobby, right? To your point, it's like everyone had an Ancient Mew and the reverse Entei and like one or two random other like Black Stars in their collection, right? So but like I won't do stuff like that. So I've even like with my skill set into like the boom and into the pandemic and the market just exploding, like I was unwilling to load up on things, even though I knew they would be a really good, I guess, like I don't want to say investment because I really don't like framing it like that, but a good like flip or a good way to make some money in order to like reinvest into my collection or go do something else. And I really struggled to like buy things that I don't like. And so that's
Yeah.
that's left a ton of money on the table for me, because I've been able to identify things, but I haven't been willing to pull the trigger on them.
Right.
So
It's all risk, man. There's a huge
yeah,
level of risk there, and I know what it's like to buy something that you thought that you could flip and it went the other way and now you're stuck with it.
yeah.
you know?
Give us an example. Why don't we trade back and forth a little bit here? I mean, I'm sure it'll be fluid, but why don't you elaborate on that?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm with you in the same ballpark in regards to, primarily I try to buy things that I have somewhat of an interest in, so that I do have that fallback. Like, but I've gotten really risky with some purchases, and my biggest mistake is trying to ride the wave, not doing enough research and trying to ride the wave. For example, PSA 9 Shadowless Charizard. Okay. Beautiful card. Love the artwork. Huge fan. But I bought that card at 10 G's. Okay. At the height. And this is when this card was, I'm talking about, it doubled in like 3 months. It was just going up, 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 and up. And like, this is when, during the era, last year with, what's his name? The Guru, the bald dude,
Collectibles Guru.
Yeah. And so this is when he was slinging Charizards, base set Charizards for, 8, 9, 10K, 11, 12. I mean, it was just going up for the PSA 10 base set Charizard. The Shadow Lizard was going up as well. And, I had some money that I had saved up to kind of, do a little bit of investing with. And I was just reckless with it. You know what I mean? I thought that I can buy this. I was looking at a lot of people talking about this card's going to be 20K by December. It was like October at the time. Just like saying all these things because it was just moving so quickly. And I'm like, do you know what? Big risk, big reward. Like, let's just dive in and let's try it. I know it's a lot of money. I know that this is crazy, but this is how you make money, is just taking these big risks. And so I tried to ride the wave. And as soon as I bought it, it doubled to 20K on auction 2 weeks later. Okay. And I was like, woo, I made the smartest move of my life. And of course, I'm greedy because I thought it would continue to go up. So I'm like, I'm going to hold this card. If it's selling for that, what's it going to be selling for in a year from now? All these stupid thoughts in my head that, just within the last year, I've been able to kind of get some experience and realize what the market really does, So, very quickly after that, a couple months, and even till now, that card's sitting at about like $5,000. So as of right now, I'm 5,000 in the red, which is fine because, again, I love this card. It's awesome. I think long term that it does have a good chance at kind of reaching back up to that 10K mark. It might take a long, long time, and that's fine. It is what it is. It's my collection. But trying to ride the wave, guys, it's just being a little bit too risky with money that I shouldn't have been risking that much money with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, because one of the things I was going to say is, like, I guess a mistake I've made in that same vein is, like, because I'm a proponent of buying and selling into every market, I have bought and sold things as they've gone up, but that's set a place where, like, my cost basis on some stuff is, I mean, I'm still like in the black, but it's higher than it should be. Like, if I had been patient,
Right.
I could have gotten it for lower, but just because it was just like exchanging, right? Like, it was just like buying one thing to sell another, right? Buying something for $1,000 and selling something for $1,000 at the same time. Right. You don't think about as much like the actual, like, are you getting a good deal, or is it just like the market right now? And just because it's a swap, you feel okay with it. And then, like, it's always that rationalization in your head too, because really, if you sold it for 1,000, you really probably ended up pocketing like 900. And if you bought it for 1,000, you probably really spent 1,100 because of taxes, right? If it's eBay and not, off the table, under the table. But
which is majority of transactions, I'd probably say.
Yeah. And so I think that's one of the things too, has been like, not always being as patient just because I knew the capital was already at risk. Right. So it's different when I'm putting new money in. Right. But like when I'm selling something that's gone up and then buying something, like even if I've made like a 5x, like if something was $100 and it went to 500 and I sold it, and then I bought something for 500 that really shouldn't be 500. Right. Or maybe like I could have gotten it at 400, or like it's only going to go, it's hard, right? Because it's like you don't think about risking as much because it was already at risk. It was already in the market. So
yeah, no, I totally get that.
That's definitely one thing I've done too. So that happened with, I think a good example is my heavy Japanese base pack that I'm going to open on my birthday this month. I paid a premium because it came from a guy that I trust, and it came from a box where every pack in the box was weighed. I knew the ranges because it's finicky with Japanese base, and it's the only freaking Japanese one until E series you got to weigh. So I think I paid $750 or $800 for that. And now like I've been able to I got another one into my collection for like, I want to say $450. Right. So again, getting cut in half. Now one's from a verified source, one's off eBay, hope for the best.
Right.
But it was because that's where the market was there. And I had stuff that I sold because I knew I wanted a verified one to open. And if I had just been patient and just set that cash on the sideline, I could have gotten more. I could have probably gotten two at the same price. Right. But it's okay. The pack's beautiful. I'm going to have an awesome experience opening it. I know it's 100% legit, but it was like, I should have sidelined myself from buying in a lot of situations where I didn't. Right. And I've done fine. I'm all good. Like if you had anything pre or into the boom, you've probably done just fine. But I think it goes back to that value idea, right? Where I could have gotten more bang for my buck if I had just sidelined and waited. Cause I knew, it wasn't like I was, wasn't going to touch like random unlimited stuff or whatever, but it was like buying stuff to a flaw that I wanted for my collection, even in an elevated market when I could have been patient. So that's definitely another thing that's probably one of my bigger single L's or, deltas between where you could buy that in the market today and where it is then. But there were other factors in that too,
I mean, how are you supposed to know though? Like when you did purchase it at the time, like I feel like a lot of us sometime in our collecting, careers that we've overpaid for something based off of fear.
Oh yeah.
We feared that the prices aren't going to go down, or, especially with the huge boom last year and whatnot. Like I think everybody's overpaid. And so it's like, how are you supposed to know that it's going to, retrace, about 50% so you can buy it at that? You just never know. And then there's other items that you think won't go up and it does. And it's like, what the heck, man? Like you can do all the research in the world, but you just never know what demand is going to do at that point in time. Like you just don't. So it's all one big risk. You know what I'm saying? Like you just, how risky do you want to be?
And it's funny because like I knew, like even though like other Japanese packs moved pretty quickly, like I still felt like they were undervalued, and I was still buying them as they were rising. And
you mean base was undervalued?
Like Team Rocket, Gym Challenge, Jungle, Fossil. Like obviously you used to be able to get them for nothing, right? $25, $20, nothing. Whatever. Then it was 50. Then it was very quickly 100. Then it was like 130. Now a lot of them are range bound to like 130 to 225, depending on which set it is, right? If it has a Charizard or not, basically. But like I felt like there was still upward. I extrapolated my thesis of there being an undervaluation in Japanese versus English to that heavy base pack, and ended up like overpaying for that one item, even though the rest of that thesis played out, right? Where even when I was buying packs at 100 and they go to 200, this one I got still cut on. And a lot of that's timing, a lot of that's nuance, but like, of the deal and wanting it to be legit and being okay overpaying. But yeah, it's hard because the market was moving so much then
It
that
really was, man. It was
it was
crazy.
like, and it was hard. Like, you didn't want to sideline yourself because it was finally like everyone was talking about it all of a sudden, like, and that's one of the things too. I would say a big mistake was like closeting myself on my Pokemon collection, right? And like my other hobbies, like my anime stuff, my Harry Potter stuff, because one of my buddies, when we were working at a job together, we didn't talk that much, but we were buddies and we would see each other there. He kind of thought I was like a freaking gym bro. And so, but he like,
Dude, I thought you were a total gym bro when we first met, because you had that picture of you bodybuilding and you're like,
oh yeah.
I was like, who is this guy?
It's too funny. But he was talking to some other guys who worked with us about, I think it was Fossil, about buying a Fossil box. And we're talking like,
oh wow,
2014, 2015.
wow.
And like, he couldn't get enough buy-in from all the other guys, but like, we were one conversation away from having owned a Fossil box back then, a first edition Fossil box.
Like, sweet.
It would have been sweet. So probably would have been real complicated to have a multi-ownership and a thing like that over. Who knows if we would have made it to the pandemic, right? We probably would have freaking opened it or something. But
right.
It just goes to show you were like one conversation away from sharing the hobby with someone and being able to enjoy it with someone else. So that was definitely a mistake I made, not putting myself out there as much. But that's, I don't think that's a mistake a lot of people want to hear about. They want to hear about they want to hear our wallets suffer. So I can tell you another one for me is I have not been aggressive enough on buying Japanese sealed when I saw the writing on the wall. Like I've just been too like conservative with how much capital I'm willing to put at risk in something like that. Like Tag Team GX.
Right.
Buying those boxes for whatever, $60 off of US Amazon, like last November, December.
Yeah.
And now they're a $250 box. Like, it's like I continue to do this thing where like I see it and I'm like, I don't want to buy 40 boxes and stick them in my closet. Like that just ain't me. And like, it's just total mistake, like absolutely, because it would have allowed me to do so many more things, right? That's a big one. That was a big L. That Dream League too, same thing. Absolute, and then just opening too much of it off the bat, which like, we're collectors, we love to, it's what we enjoy, but making sure there's a balance is usually important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because you have to do things like that at volume for it to move the needle, right? Like me buying one box of Tag Team GX and it 4Xing, like that's cool, but like in dollar terms, does it really matter? I mean, for me personally, like I need 100 of those for it to be like, that's a spec that like really played out. And it's just, there's only so much capital I'm willing to tie up in the specking side of Pokemon, the non-personal collection specking side of Pokemon, because I know where else I could be putting that money and the kind of returns I can get. So,
dude, I get it, man. And my pops put in 50 grand in Apple, years back, and it ended up splitting twice. You know what I mean? Like, and he just made a ton of money. And it's just like, people could have done that with Amazon or, these other big companies. And it really is like, how much are you willing to risk? And it's a tough game. Like you could do your homework. You never really know where it's going to go. I've had lots of stuff pay off, risking, and I do a ton of research. And then I've had some other stuff where it doesn't, like the Charizard or my other Zard, the CP6 PSA 10. I bought it for $1,000 because again, it was just at that same time where everything was going up. And I just thought like, man, this Charizard is so beautiful. It looks just like the original. It's a super clean copy. I thought that it had potential to go up. The thing I didn't take into consideration was the population. This is back before I was a pop whore, and I'm looking at populations all day long and like understanding how that really affects price, but really just like doing all this risk. And there's times where it's paid off. Like, and for me, I think it's kind of like a half mistake and half not. At the time, it was a huge win. Like when I first got back into the hobby, I bought a PSA 10 Gold Star Rayquaza Japanese for $600. $600. Yeah. 2 years ago.
Wow.
And this was before I liked Japanese. I dabbled with a few things. I bought all those packs, the 5-Team Rocket, 5-Gym Challenge.
Yeah.
I bought that PSA 10 Blastoise for like $30 from Team Rocket. Because I was like, man, this is just so cheap. Like, I see some opportunity, but like you, I didn't have the balls to say like, okay, I'm gonna like go all in.
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't have the experience. And so I saw that Rayquaza was like, I was doing a lot of research on Gold Stars because it was starting to kind of fascinate me, that EX era. And so I'm kind of doing some research, and I kind of understand that people want that card. That's the king. That's the chase card for the Gold Stars, even more than the Charizard, which is not usually the case. So I saw an opportunity with Japanese. I saw it was a PSA 10. People were going to want it. And I found a copy that came up on 600. I was checking eBay every single day for so many different listings, found it, bought it right away. And within 2 months, I sold it for $1,400. Now, after taxes and shipping fees and all that stuff, insurance, came out to about double my profits, which was great because I took that money, I reinvested the 600, and I took 600, and I can't remember what I did with it, but that's kind of how I was like building my collection and building like my investment portfolio so I can kind of gamble with that money. Now, I got up to 10 G's and I kind of blew it on that Zard, but that's kind of an example of like stuff that I would do. And so like at the time it was a win, but at the same time, dude, if I would have just held it, you know, what did SM Pratt say the other day? Paper hands get paper margins. You know what I mean? It's like,
but the thing I always say, and that I truly believe, and it sounds a little hokey, but you know, I don't regret, and we can talk about this all day long, like stuff that we sold way too early, right? And that was going to be one of my topics, and I don't need to dive too far into it. But what I wanted to talk about is that like everything we've sold has either established a new relationship, it's given us capital to put into something else. Like we can't even think about like when I start to think back and think about, okay, I bought these packs from this person, and then I traded 2 of them to get an art set, and then that created this relationship with this dude in Japan, and this I sold to this person that now I'm podcasting with, that like whoever, like it's wild like how all those transactions like start establishing relationships. So yeah, monetarily, like it was a big mistake for us to sell some of those things early,
right?
But it also like is just a stepping stone in the journey, and it's like just part of it, you know. So I think it'd be different if either of us, like this was our full-time thing,
right?
Because then it like comes down to like, can I put food on the table? And you have to like truly make extremely calculated plays, and really know your margins and really know the volume you're going to do. And if you're fully dependent on what's going on in this hobby, whereas like, this is just like a side thing for us. Right. So I think it's a totally different thing if it's like a business, right?
It's the butterfly
I think
effect.
For me, it's like,
you know,
like it is the butterfly effect for sure.
Like I've said this in a previous video that like, even if I knew that I can go back and like keep a card or sell a card at a certain period of time where I didn't do that before to make all this money, I wouldn't, because I wouldn't be where I am right here, right now in my life. Like I'm truly blessed. And I don't just say that like, oh, like trying to sound humble. Like I'm super grateful for every single thing that I have. Like I'm very, very grateful for my life right now. And the connections and the relationships that, like you said, man, each one of those sales, like it builds a foundation. And like, whatever it is, like it absolutely has kind of led me to this point. And so I don't know, man, it's definitely that gold star causes a $10,000 card right now. So I would like to have it. Plus I'm a huge Japanese collector and like I'm going after Japanese gold stars now. And so it's like, why couldn't I like it back then type of deal? But at the same time, who knows if we'd be sitting down if that were the case, if I kept that card and I didn't sell that one thing. And then,
right.
That didn't lead me to buying something else that led me to buying this. And then you just don't know,
It totally changes the game. I think about that with like, if I had, it's the same, like, it's not the same thing, but like, it was basically at the same time, like around 20th anniversary, when all I wanted to do is put a lot of money into crypto and a lot of money into Pokemon. I didn't have a lot of money, so I could only put a little bit of money into them. And it worked out really well, but gosh, would have been different if you moved the decimal place, right? Like, right. But it's like, you end up where you're supposed to be. And, I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, because life isn't just about like making money for me, it's about relationships and enjoyment. And like, there's so much more than just like being able to flex because I made money on freaking cardboard and digital currency, like, it's like, who cares? Like I done fine, like I'm going to be fine. And like, I know, like, I'm going to be success. Like none of this defines who I am as like a person, like, and I'm going to be successful in my own right, far outside of Pokemon. So it's okay to take a few L's here because you learn a heck of a lot.
You don't want to put posts with the stacks of money next to the cards. You don't want to be that baller. Oh my God.
$30,000 Bulbasaur. Yo, I'll tell you. Oh man, I'm trying to think. I got so. I mean, there's so many things that I've screwed up on for sure. I was thinking about a recent
folks.
one.
Now he's got the juices.
They are.
Now he's starting to remember a little bit. He was trying to play it cool the other day. He goes, "Man, this is gonna be tough. I don't really have that many losses." And I'm like, "Dang, man, you've been making some smart moves because I have a ton." Now they're coming out.
I once bought a PSA 9 unlimited Bulbasaur, and I thought it was a shadowless Bulbasaur, and I like either misread the title or mixed up the links and bid on it and won. And I was like, damn it, this is not what I wanted.
How much was it?
I did the same thing. Oh, I don't know. It was like nothing, but it was more the principle of the match. I mean, we're talking $25 or whatever, but it's still like, I didn't want that. Like, I don't want that at all. Like, same thing with like, I think like the same small dollar amount, but it was like a, it was shadowless, but somehow I ended up bidding on the guy's Charmeleon instead of his Charmander. I don't know, like if I was distracted or what happened, but I ended up with a BGS 9 shadowless Charmeleon instead of a Charmander. So that was great. Done some dumb stuff like that or if you ever like you bid the wrong number, like you just, oh God, I've come close on a few where I was like, oh no, I'm going to win this thing. And I really don't want to pay for this thing, but I have to pay for it.
Dude. So, okay. Man. So on that, I got some reckless shit to say. Okay, here we go. You guys want the juicy stuff.
Let's go.
Here's one for me that it's funny because it's like, it's one of those things where it was not a good thing to do. It was very stupid and reckless, but then my hard work covered my ass type of deal. And it ended up being okay. So this is one of my mistakes is listening to content creators and not doing your own research, enough research on your own. Okay. So when I first got back into the hobby, Leonhard got me back into the hobby. And one of his videos, he was talking about how a BGS 9.5 is the same thing as a PSA 10. Now, over 2 years ago, 9.5 BGS was not going for a lot of money. Okay. But he was talking about how it's the same thing in regards to the condition, And so I was looking to buy a PSA 10 Charizard, and they were going for $2,000 at the time. Okay. $2,000 to $2,500. And I came across a BGS 9.5 for, I think it was 1,300. And I used to like to do this thing where I would kind of like to throw in really lowball offers, or what I thought it would, to get like a little rush out of it, I guess you could say,
Oh
to see
yeah.
like, oh, they won't accept that,
Oh
but I'll
yeah.
throw it in anyways. I threw it in at 1,000. The guy accepted it right away. I mean, like right away. And I remember sitting at work. I was on my break, and like my stomach just dropped because I was like, this is my first big purchase in Pokemon. Like $1,000. I
Yeah.
had not spent anything close to that at that point in time.
Yeah.
Not even 200. I mean, I was fresh, bro. Like a couple weeks in, and so I thought that it would be the same in regards to price. I thought that that's a really good deal if a PSA 10 is going for 2,000, 2,500, and I got this for 1,000. I was like, dude, that's a phenomenal deal. Well, that wasn't the case. And it
Then you
sat.
looked what 9.5s were selling for.
And dude, this was even before I was so green. I didn't even know how to look up sold prices on eBay.
Oh, woof.
Yeah. So I was just going off of
Oh,
what was
no.
listed. Dude, I'm telling you, it was reckless. It was stupid. It's super embarrassing,
Yeah.
but this is my history. This is who I
Hey,
am. It
how it
happened,
goes, man.
it happened. And so what happened after that is that I really started like getting into stats. I started putting down in a Google sheet every single price of every single set of all the booster boxes, booster packs, PSA 10s, PSA 9s for just about every single WotC set in English and almost in Japanese. Like became obsessed with this stuff because I really just wanted to get into it. I just started really having a passion for it, and what happened is that Charizard stayed at that price point for the next like 7 months, something like that. Okay. Maybe it was 6. And I ended up selling it for $750. So I took a hit on it because I had just bought a Heart Gold Soul Silver booster box for $600. Yeah, they were going for 600 back then, dude, like crazy, because I saw an opportunity. I was doing a lot of research and I was like, man, this is a really good set. I saw what was in there, the primes, the legends, the regular hollows. And I was just like, this set has a lot of potential to go up, and it did. And I ended up selling that box for like $2,400, like within like 5 or 6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
So like the hard work ended up saving me, but like ultimately in the end of just like listening to Leonhardt and taking what he was saying and like thinking that he was like the know-it-all because he had all these subscribers and he was telling you these things without like doing more research, and then just being reckless and like, oh, I'm just going to put like, that was a huge, huge mistake at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that was just so stupid,
Oh man. I mean, it happens. I love throwing in low ball bids that I don't think are going to get,
Yeah.
think are going to get accepted. And it's happened. It's definitely happened. Luckily it's been okay. Like it's been fine net, but yeah, I can think of probably a couple where I didn't really want to buy it at that price, but close enough. And I just had to do it. So you just kind of justify it. Yeah. Even like, not really in the same vein, but like one thing that made me think of was like, I'll always like lowball. Like I have a thing where like I won't pay over $500 for a single card. And so I would always like lowball in like at that $500 mark and like not move off it at all. And one time it got accepted. And I was like, did I really want to pay 500 for that card? But like, I guess I did. So yeah, that's like, and that's probably a mistake. The real mistake is that psychological barrier of me not wanting to pay over $500 for a single card. I'm just too damn like conservative now because it's like, I don't know. I'm too skeptical of where most prices of most cards are. There's somewhere it makes sense to me. And I broke that rule recently, as you know. I think I'll wait to reveal to the people what I bought on PWCC. I told them about all but one item in my last video, so I'm waiting to reveal that. It hasn't shipped yet. It's in my vault, but
it's a card you talk a lot of shit about, man. Or a Pokemon.
Oh, it is. I know. The people will know. It's gonna be hilarious.
It's a beautiful card, though.
Beautiful card. Probably going to be talking about it as a mistake in 6 months, but that's okay. So what can you do?
Let's hope not, man.
Dude, another mistake I definitely made was not sticking to my guns with Evolving Skies as a recent one. I spent too much money on English modern Evolving Skies. When I told myself that EV Heroes was amazing, I love Japanese, I'm just going to stick to it, I FOMO'd. Like, I felt like it was like the set to be breaking on YouTube and Instagram and Reels. And like, I just started chasing the evolutions, and I like bought more of it than I should have. Like, not like crazy outside my budget, but just like, what, like, I like opening, and I did a video about it where I was like, I am going to try to like stick to my guns on this. And I really enjoy Japanese, and I'm going to get better bang for my buck there. So, FOMO's real. I definitely did that with that set. I did not do it with Celebrations, which was good. I gut checked myself a little bit. So,
dude, and
that was definitely a mistake.
And I'm kind of on the opposite fence of, it's funny, somebody said in the comments last time, I want to see you guys argue over something or something like that.
Yeah, let's do it.
I can't remember who it was, but
it'll be in the over-unders will be good for that too. But yeah, hit me. What you got?
Like, I think it was the set to open. I think that if you were going to do a set for English modern, it was Evolving Skies. There were so many different chase cards in that set. It was a ton of fun to open. This is one that I pulled, graded the 10, expressed it 3 weeks back, got, and this is not even like a perfect card, guys. I'm telling you, like, the centering is off on the front, tad off on the back, but knowing those ranges of 60-40 front, 70-30 back, knowing that, I'm like, I'm going to risk it. And I did that with the Charizard as well on Champion's Path, and netted a bunch. This is at auction right now, and it's already at 400. There's a few days left.
Nice.
Minus the 150. So let's just say, $200 at this point in time, somewhere along that,
Yeah.
I paid, I don't know, like a little bit north of $400 for all the boxes. So even if this sells right now at 400 plus the express of 150. So what is that? 250 profit, minus some fees. So let's just say 200, that like cuts out like almost half the cost of all my booster boxes of opening that. And I have other cards that I would like to grade, not at the $150 mark, but that I want to just wait for a little bit to come down. I had a lot of fun opening that up. So it's like, it's not a bad way. And trust me, by no means do you need to rely on pulling gem mint cards, grading them and selling them. That is a terrible investment. You should not do that. But in the grand scheme of things, of if you are going to open a set, I think that Evolving Skies was that set to do it, because you did have so many money cards that you can do exactly what I did: open it, express it, flip it, and cover a lot of your costs, if not all of it, plus
maybe the bigger mistake for me was not just buying booster boxes. Like, I was just buying blisters and ETBs and whatever. Yes. And
the boxes were stacked.
I should have just been like, I'm gonna buy 5 booster boxes and we're just gonna do it. But instead I was like, I'm not gonna buy this, and then I was like, oh no, I'm gonna buy this. So that's what's hard. But I think you're right that it certainly is an amazing set. I think I could have just been a lot more tactful and like thought through how I should have either sat on the sidelines or had the right game plan to get in the game. And instead I started shooting from the hip, and it just didn't work out. But with like we talked about before the podcast a little bit, but like Japanese 25th anniversary with VMAX Climax, like, I've got a game plan. I know what my price points are. I think I'm at the right spot. Like, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do. I want to say I'm not going to touch this freaking V-Star thing, whatever. So we'll see how that plays out.
Oh, you're opening it.
Side note, Pokemon Center ETB looks worse than the regular ETB, in my opinion.
Oh, way worse.
Which I was kind of sad about. Yeah, right? Because it's like brighter and you almost can't like see Arceus. It's weird. Anyway, I did I said I wasn't going to open Fusion Strike or like buy a lot of it. Like now I'm like, maybe now that I'm going to be streaming on Whatnot and I've been doing some breaks, like maybe I should buy a booster box.
Shameless plug, shameless
I
plug.
did.
You guys hear that?
Shameless plug. Yeah.
Tell the people a little bit real quick, just real quick.
Streamer. Yeah. So I just finally, I reapplied and got approved to stream on Whatnot, which is an app that integrates effectively a community live stream with a buying experience. So people do box breaks, or they do single sales or slab sales or a big mix. There's fixed price stuff. There's auctions. So I'll be doing stuff on there once in a while. I'm not sure how much they hold your feet to the fire on how often you need to stream once you're approved, but I know I have to stream within 2 weeks of like my orientation. So on Monday I have like a Zoom call, and then off to the races from there. So
nice, man.
Side note, be on the lookout for that. It's gonna be super fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I think, as a side note, the experience-based buying is the way like that this hobby is going to be able to thrive, right? Like it's very popular in international markets, and like I think we've seen them start to do it, and I think they're going to get aggressively more into that space. Like Whatnot they've raised a ton of money in the private equity space, like from venture capital, and they are growing. They updated the app. It's way better. Like the interface is way better. And it's like, it's fun. Like you get to interact with like people that you know and like, and in the chat and the streamers themselves. So it's really, I think that community based like buying experience. And plus like, it's so popular because people are so addicted to like gambling. Like people love it. Like it's crazy. So be careful out there on Whatnot. You can spend a lot of money real quick. I had some guy DM me the other day and say he dropped 10K on Whatnot so far this year. And I was like, what? But yeah, that has happened. Yeah. Crazy. So I don't know if it was in Canadian or US, but it doesn't matter. It's still a lot either way.
Let's hope it's yen, man.
Oh God, that'd be a lot better, wouldn't it? Jeez. But where was I going with that? Oh, I ended up buying one of the Pokemon Center Fusion Strike ETBs because I think they look pretty psychedelic. Nice. So I was like, oh, that looks cool. I want one of those. Even though I was like, I'm really not going to spend money on this set. Like the set doesn't interest me as much. Like, I don't know. There's like one card I like out of all the like secret rares and stuff, but
which one?
It's the Mew, where it's like in that classic like Mew sitting, but he's in the air, and it's the rainbow one. I like that. I forget which artist does that like rendition of Mew, but I like that one a lot.
You don't like the Gengar?
When I look through the not really. It doesn't do it for me. Oh, no, I don't know.
I think it's the best ones that they've done, the best VMAX personally.
Really?
Yeah, I love it.
And that's what's so cool about Pokemon is it's like it's so subjective, right? Because it's all like art, and there's something for everyone to enjoy. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I'm just so amped up for VMAX Climax that like that's just what I'm focused. And I haven't even gotten the Japanese 25th anniversary yet, which I'm also just jacked up for. So we won't talk about MetaZoo Nightfall because the people will get angry and they'll get real mad that I like a set from something else that's not Pokemon. But I like MetaZoo Nightfall, guys. Surprise!
Yeah, man, this is Pokemon only. Come on, bro. Like
Pokemon only.
No,
Pokemon
man.
Only. Look at my Peanuts and Harry Potter stuff in the background. But any other mistakes that you wanted to highlight or like kind of screw up areas that you think would be helpful for folks to hear?
I think I air my dirty laundry, man. I got some embarrassing stuff. I think you guys have heard the bulk of it. Honestly, man, I think that more than anything that like I've said multiple times is that if you're going to be looking at Pokemon as some type of like investing vehicle, some type of way to make money, which for the most part I've been able to do, I've had to get very aggressive in certain areas, and I've had to put in a lot of time and a lot of effort. That being said, I think that sometimes being too over aggressive is just a really big mistake. Like, I got to stick to a budget. I got to say I'm going to have this much money, and I have to divvy that out between my personal collection and stuff that I want to dample with, if that's the road that I want to go. You know what I'm saying? And like, and sticking to it, and not like seeing a deal come and be like, okay, I'm just going to pull from savings, and oh, I was supposed to put this towards this, but I'm going to put it towards this, and like getting like too just overzealous, and like, you know, your eyes are too big for your stomach type of deal. And so I think that's something that I've struggled with in the past, is like thinking that if I see something that I can flip it, I can make money, I can do this. And the reality is, it's like, you just need to take a step back. And like, sometimes like taking that step back can actually like yield you more money, or you'll see a deal come by like 2 weeks later when you have a little bit more, you know, another paycheck, so you can divvy out a certain percentage and you can get it for a better price, you know? So I think that it's all gamble and it's all a risk. And a lot of your like hard work and effort goes into like researching all that different stuff that like plays a factor into what you think a card will do or set will go up or go down. But in the end, man, I mean, I think like playing the safe road, like you've done, like yourself, like I think that there's an opportunity, but I just can't pull the trigger. All in all, it's done a pretty good strategy for you, you know?
Yeah, for me, it's like downside risk mitigation to a
Right.
flaw, right?
Exactly.
Because especially now, because like even with how much we know about this hobby, there's always someone smarter than you. And it's like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we'll do a separate episode sometime on this, but there's just a lot of, there's some invisible hands behind the scenes, right? There's some people that move markets in these hobbies in a big way, or control them, or we use
Right.
the M word, the manipulation word. And especially now, you got to be super careful. And I think I just observe a lot of people still getting taken advantage of
Mhm.
because they're super uneducated about this hobby. Like, it's something I say a lot, but if it was that easy, everyone could do it. And we saw that for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we saw a lot of people get burned by thinking they could just to the moon make money. And so I think that now at this junction, it's about like truly, to your point, like sticking to a budget, being super prudent.
Mhm.
Like guys, we like Rob and I both, we spend a lot of free time researching this market, and not just like looking for stuff we want to buy for ourselves on eBay, but like, and Rob does this a lot, like for his videos, like researching like how different pieces of the market have moved and the price points. And I have like kind of some analytics that I look at, whether it's population reports, or I have saved searches set up to get volumes of stuff coming online. And there's a lot of things I look at on a day-to-day basis. Not always, because you can't, you know, sometimes I got real life going on, and I got work,
Right.
and I got friends, and like I got, you know, it's good to go outside, guys. Like we've had enough of being inside all the time. So, but I will say that we spend a lot of time studying these markets, and there's a lot more complexity than, you know, and like, even like, I'll give you an example, like, and like we talked about this actually. And then my friend just made this mistake the other day where he thought he got a really good deal on a Japanese gym challenge pack, and it ended up being a 300 yen pack. And most 300 yen packs aren't going to have band cards in them. So they're at a discount to the 291 yen for a reason. But like, if you don't look close enough, or you like forget, or, you know, you're not in tune with what's going on, like little lapses like that can happen. Same thing with E-Series first edition versus unlimited in Japanese. Like there's so many nuances. I mean, we can go
Mhm.
on and on about it, but it's like, the point is that there's a ton of intricacies. And if you're trying to spec or freaking invest or flip or whatever, like, you got to really understand what you're getting yourself into. And one thing I would like to point out is mistakes I have made is getting a little ballsy with holding pretty niche liquid items in doubles, where like I want one for myself and I want one that I can sell. And sometimes it's harder to sell something than you might think.
Yeah.
especially because just because you like it doesn't mean that everyone in Pokemon likes it. And if you want to get a certain price for it, sometimes it can make it even harder, right? Depending on how the conditions play out. So, like an example is like that, I like graded packs. Like I think they're cool. And the PSA 10 first edition fossil pack I had the Zapdos art in the old style that was folded. And I was like, I'd really like to get the Lapras one instead. And now they got this new style and I like Lapras more, but Zapdos usually sells for more because people like Zapdos more. So I was like, okay, I can arbitrage this. Like, and again, it goes back to that mistake of like buying into every market, even though prices are, so much higher than when I originally got the Zapdos one. So I bought a Lapras one on auction that I thought I got a good deal on. And then I've been trying to sell the Zapdos one. And I could have just waited. It's not like I had to. It's not like I needed the money, but I didn't really like holding two of those things at the same time. It just felt like too much concentration for me. And, it took a little bit to get that thing moved in a very liquid market right now, right? Where like there's a high amount of transaction happening. This hobby is more liquid than it's ever been. So if you are having a problem with liquidity, it means like either you've got something too niche, your price point's wrong, or a mixture of those things. And I think like one of the bigger mistakes I made is having those like old style graded slabs. But no one could have known they were going to change those. Right. But I digress. So yeah, and it just goes down to like knowing what you're getting into when you tie up capital in this market, because you can't just click the button and sell it, guys, unless you want to take a complete bath.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes people just don't see your listing.
That's just it, man. And this is just going to be my parting words on the topic, because I think we spent a good amount of time on it. And it's fun. We want to talk about mistakes. I think it's important for people to hear about this stuff. Is that, this market is extremely illiquid, this hobby. It's unbelievable sometimes how I would love to sell a particular item or something along those lines to buy something else to fund it, and I can't. It just doesn't move like that. It's not like a stock where I can just cash in. It doesn't work that way. And so the only way that you can do it to guarantee that you can sell something is throw it up on auction. And I had a person reach out to me recently asking about, celebrations. He ended up, getting a PSA 10 on the Charizard as well as on the Mew. And he was talking to me about, hey, what would you kind of recommend? I kind of walked him through his options. And I said, here's what I've been finding a lot of success recently in regards to modern. If I do it quick enough, is I put it up on auction and demand this high enough at that point in time that it sells for right at, or sometimes even higher, what some of the buy it nows are going for, because people like that gambling aspect. And once you start bidding on something, people get competitive and they want to win, So I've had a lot of success with auctions. And, just like with this, the Dragonite, like it's gone for, if I would have listed at 400, I'm getting more for that right now. It's a little bit over 4. I was like, if I am going to list it, it's going to be at 400. So it's gone above what I thought I can get it for. And that's a risk, but at the other end, like this guy put it up on auction. We kind of discussed, and it ended up not selling for as much as he thought it would be. And he like talked to me and he like messaged me and like, he was really bummed. And he was like, man, I'm going to be making a little bit, profiting a little bit of money after all the breaks and after all the grading fees. I'm going to like net $100. And he's like, man, Pokemon's a lot harder than I thought. And I'm like, yeah, man, like that's the game that you're playing, especially if you're trying to open product and make money off of that. Like what I was saying earlier, that is not an investment strategy. That is not a way to make money. It's a way to enjoy the hobby and get some money back. And in his case, he even yielded like over $100, which is great. But his price point that he sold it for was like $400 or $300 less than what they have been going for. And that was like a hit for him, And I did that with my PSA 10 base set Hitmonchan recently from base set. It sold for only like $350 at a PSA 10. I thought it was going to go for like $500-600. And I was lucky enough that I got that card in a lot where it was an entire 1/16 holo set of 9-10. And the Charizard was a PSA 9. And I sold that for $1,900, which covered the cost of the entire lot. So I made like $6,000 all pure profit. But if I hadn't have done that, if I hadn't have lucked out and got that at that point in time, and I was trying to buy Hitmonchan at X amount and then sell it later down the line, expecting the auction to do well, and it didn't, that's a huge mistake. So you could see auctions go for at market value. Like you see TCA Gaming doing a lot of auctions nowadays because he's got a brand and reputation. He's kind of seen that they've been doing it. But I've seen some of his auctions go for like 50% less of what the card has been selling for. So I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, no, it's totally valid. I think you summed it up well. It's making me think of topics for future videos, which is good. So that's a good way to sum it up. We can leave it there because that's 100% right. So, all
right, dude. So
should we do our little new collecting with this many dollars segment, whatever we're gonna call it?
Yeah, I just talked for like 2 minutes, so I want to hear your view.
Okay.
What do you spend $1,000 on?
Yeah. I think right now so what I did was I thought about it, and then I looked at some things that had sold between $800 and $1,200 in the past like 2 months. And I came up with a couple things, and I was trying to think of what's like actually a pretty good value. And I think that if it comes up and you can get it, one of the coolest things that I have in my collection is the set of 6 gym decks in Japanese, the smaller theme decks.
Dude,
from
yes.
Gym 1 and Gym 2.
Yes.
I think as a collector, if you like Japanese and you like or you like Gen 1, like it's Erica, Sabrina, Misty, Brock, Blaine, and Surge.
Yep.
And they're these like kind of small, they're smaller than English theme decks. For those of you out there who haven't seen it, here, I'll grab one.
Dude, that almost made my list. I was looking at those to add.
Yeah. So they're all kind of like this. So they're different than I don't have a theme deck over here, but they're kind of like they're fatter and shorter than English theme decks, and there's 6 of them. Giovanni didn't make the cut, and neither did Koga. But I think as a collector, that's like, it's such a cool, unique set of items to have in your collection. And I'm just a sucker for the OG trainers. Like, it's so nostalgic for me. Like every time I look at these, like, and what's so cool is there's like, I'm never going to open these, but like there's a holo in every one. They like don't have rarity symbols, so they're like more unique cards. They've all got like really cool names. Like this is like the Hanada gym. Like it's like the Japanese names for everything. They're so dope. Like I love these. And so personally, as a collector, when I look at things that are selling around that price point, if I want to put something in my collection today, I still think those are a great value. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I've got it set up where I've got the bottom shelf is all the decks, and then above it is all the trainers in 9s.
Dude, the Sugimori artwork on these old school trainers are just,
it bangs.
Yeah,
bangs
it's so simple but so clean at the same time. I mean, they look phenomenal. Great recommendation, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, that's and look, guys, like there's 6 of them, right? So if you can get in at $200 a deck, that ain't bad when, like a Zap deck is going for $250 to $300 if it's a potentially shadowless, like on the English side. Like, I don't know. I think they're even cooler than those theme decks. So,
dude,
a decent price point.
I'm with you, man. I really do think that those Japanese theme decks are loaded, especially in like the the Misty one. You know, you get the Misty Hollow, plus you get the naked Misty, I believe. You get the Misty's Tears in
Yeah,
there.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
think
it's
so.
like some of these, and that's the most expensive theme deck, by the way. I think that theme deck goes for more than the rest, but I agree. I
That
think
and
that
the
they're phenomenal
Sabrina.
options. Sabrina's a
That and the
banger. Yeah.
Sabrina usually go for more. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, man? What are you thinking?
All right, dude.
$1,000. Where are you throwing it?
I'm busting out the screen share.
Let's go.
I'm busting it out because I'm a visual kind of guy. So
Rob breaks the stream. Thanks for being with us, guys.
yeah.
Oh, you buying 10 of these? Oh,
So I have what
whoa.
4 or 5 different items, and these are Chinese, you know, on the Chinese side. Let me get it off my little swag books, cash back here. I mean, just the way that these look, guys, they're phenomenal display pieces. And
Cool.
that's number one. It's the biggest thing for me is like, how do they look on display? Like when I grab them and hold them, like, is this something that I don't mind holding on to? Because I think that this is just a phenomenal display piece. They come with 5 packs. It is Chinese, but I do think that foreign languages, especially China, is really starting to come up in regards to price and popularity. It's something that I think Collect Pokemon did a video on this like a couple of weeks ago, talking about the history of Chinese Pokemon cards and, you know, where we're at now and how limited in regards to the sets they came out with, like Legend Maker and sets here and there along the way, as compared to like base set and you know, how many sets in between the gap and whatnot. And it's cool to kind of see them come back into the fold and start to release, you know, products since I think the Sun and Moon era. I think that's when they came back in. But I just think that they look phenomenal. They have that border just like Japanese with that logo, which is perfect. They look like Japanese product if you didn't know. And so I think for all of these, this is the cheapest that I can find it at. It's free shipping, $140, so less than $50 per one of these. They call it a Rapture gift box, which is really weird that it's not called like a 3-pack blister. So if you guys are trying to look for it, that's what they're called. So it's about, let's just say $150 if we're looking at tax and whatnot. The other thing is I think that these promo packs, guys, are just money. I just think that this is the best bang for your buck. This is the best deal that I could find. These are 10 of them.
Price.
It's less than $20 a pack. They've been selling for about 22 to 23 bucks, something along those lines. I think that you can buy a 10 pack of these, open a few, maybe express grade them if they're in really good condition. Maybe you pull the Charizard. That's a good way to, you know, potentially get some profit back if you're looking to go down that route. Other than that, I'm just excited to open them. They're a really good way to enjoy the hobby for an affordable price. You're guaranteed to hit 20 bucks. That's not too bad. And I do think that over time, these will, they have really good potential to go up in value. You know, I really do. So this is $200. We're looking at about $350 total. After that, I'm just so big into the EX era right now on the Japanese side. I think that the booster packs are, for some of them, are really good value buys. This is one of the cheapest ones that you can find. I'm so bummed that I had one for the Japanese EX Sandstorm that I missed today at auction. I just got busy doing something else and totally just spaced, and it went for like $180, and I'm just really bummed at that. But this is Team Magma versus Aqua. What do you got there, bud?
Oh yeah, a little earlier, but the OG of the E Series Expedition or
Absolutely.
base expansion.
Yes, phenomenal. You know, and you got that for a really good price point. I mean,
yeah, I got lucky on a couple of those.
Yeah. And I definitely recommend if you can buy that, because you got it around this price point, right? Maybe even a little less, something like that.
Yeah, a little less. Yeah.
Which is not easy to do.
No.
Yeah. So I think that those are really good options right here. This one has the reason why I love this set so much is because it's one of the cheapest sets for this EX era. And you have a shot at pulling the Espeon and Umbreon, which on the English side is a non-holo, but on the Japanese side, it's a holo. And it's my favorite Espeon artwork of all time. I just bought it in a 10. I splurged. I haven't been buying anything, and I bought it. I've been waiting for it. Been checking eBay.
Team Magma
every
Team
day.
Aqua was awesome. Yeah, it's such a good set. Oh my gosh,
it's like a so pop great. 40 card, and I've been checking eBay every day. I'll be showing it off on the channel a little bit later. So,
oh yeah.
So this is, let's just say 300. So we're up to about $650. Another one that I think is really good to kind of go into are some diamond and pearl theme decks. I mean, guys, just look at the $60, $65. This Electivire holo that you get in the theme deck is fire. It's super awesome. $50. I mean, I think these theme decks are just really affordable, really good value buy as well. So maybe let's just say 2 or 3 of these, kind of depending on what price point you can get at. So let's just say it kind of brings you up to like $800, somewhere around that price point. And then to bring it home, we're going with the Team Rocket Returns theme deck. And I tell you what, guys, this thing's undervalued. I'm going to say it. I don't even care. This thing is undervalued. In the Jesse theme deck, you get the Tyranitar holo in that theme deck. It's a banger. And in the James theme deck, you get the freaking Dragonite. You guys know Pokehive. I know you know Pokehive on Instagram, and he opened one of these theme decks, the James, graded it, got the 10. I mean, guys, that card is stunning. And for these price points, it's not bad. You can find them. I think the James is more expensive, but you can find the Jesse at around like 150 to 200. You can see the James is going for a little bit more. Here's 170 plus 140. So, about a little bit over, 230, $240, which again, that's not a bad buy at all. So combining that all up, that makes about $1,000.
Oh man, I love that. I love what you pieced together there. Oh, it's such good stuff. Those theme decks rock.
Yeah.
I forget, are the Magma Aqua Japanese packs 5-card packs as well?
No.
Are they the regular size?
They're 10 or 11, whatever they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. TCA Gaming opened up a box of that like 4 or 5 months ago, something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
And I believe that they're 10 or 11 cards per pack. I'm almost positive, but I could be wrong.
I think that's a really, really gosh, you get like such a diverse fun. Like it's pretty cool how far even now $1,000 can go in the hobby if you know where to look. Those theme decks in the EX era are not something I have owned. But they're really cool. They're really cool. There's just so much to collect, man. It's hard.
There's a lot. Yeah. And again, really it's hard. Like, I always try to look at it at the view of like, yes, a lot of this stuff is for my PC, but I always want to buy stuff that's going to go up. I just do. So I have that option that if I do want to sell it, that that I can, potentially take that money and either reinvest the profits or just spend it on Hawaii when I go in January. I'm always looking for that perfect combination of collecting, investing. Where does that meet? And I just think that these theme decks, I got a drawer full of them, of that Electivire theme decks that I got from Troll and Toad for like $35 each, like a few months ago. And already they're selling for crazy. 60 to 65. And like, that's not a lot of money because I only bought 5 of them. So my profit margins aren't that big, but it's kind of like, what can I make the most of my money with, and they're really cool display pieces. They look badass sealed.
That's awesome. So what, are you going to sell 3 of them and break, debase yourself, or are you just going to keep them in the drawer? That's the real question.
I like opening.
They almost doubled. So now what?
I'm going to open one.
Hard, right?
I'm going to open one.
Nice.
And just have fun, maybe grade it. See if I can get a 10. They're super low pop, those theme deck holos. They're really cool. And I'll probably just keep a bunch.
What is that 10, that Dragonite from EX Team Rocket go for nowadays? Do you know?
Dude, I think the last one went for close to like $700 or $800. I could be way off base this year, but I remember that card hitting up there. The Japanese version as well that comes from the half deck. It's the Dragonite and the Articuno, I think, from Team Rocket Returns, the EX. I think those are the 2 in there, and then there's 2 cards behind it. I can't remember if they're or what they are, but I think that card's like over like $400 or $500 last sold, or like has sold it within the last few months. I'm going off memory, which is not very good. So
that's why I like the Japanese decks so much, because they didn't do that many of them. Most of them are like those odd half decks, and they're just different. Like it's not like English where they were like, there's been theme decks for like every set. They like really don't do that in Japanese. So I I wish they had released those Chinese Rapture blister things in Japan as well.
Yeah,
That would have been cool. That would have been cool.
they're sick products.
That's a really unique product. They're sick. They are sick. Well, should we leave them with the over under, my friend?
Dude, what you got?
Want to start with over or under?
Whatever you're feeling, big dog.
All right. Let's take a note from one of your recent videos. Japanese graded Pokemon poker cards, playing cards, are the most overrated, overvalued thing. You got people who are buying a pack of cards for like nothing from Japan, breaking it, grading all of them, and making 250x their money on them. The people who are buying the graded poker cards right now for like hundreds and hundreds of, and what was that BGS 10? It was like $1,000 or something. How much was it?
It's a black label, but still, it was $1,000 for me.
It's a freaking poker card.
Yeah.
I mean, guys, think about population. Think about how many poker decks or trading card, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Playing card decks that you've had over your life that have just sat sealed in a drawer in your house, right? Where you never even played them, never even opened them, right? Like sat in the toy closet of you grown. Like, I can only imagine just the pallets of these that are in Japan and the amount that guys have bought and are now just dripping into the market. Like, guys, just watch those populations. It's going to be hilarious. And I think people need to be really careful because they're super cool. I'm not saying the art's overrated. Yeah. I'm saying people are way overpaying and FOMOing on these things. Like,
I'm glad you think they're cool.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah.
I've looked at them. David Persian has a bunch on his website, which is interesting because he's like the biggest English collector ever, but he has some of those on his website. And I remember almost buying some. And then there's a couple that I've like really wanted and I think are cool. There's some I've thought about trading for, but I'm just like, I can't justify the value, right? Yeah. Even on a trade. I'm just like, I'm not going to do that. Like,
even $100.
This is not the case. Yeah. Even $100. I'm like, no, like it's so true. Like I've come close too. And I'm like, Connor, buddy, think.
Yeah.
That's tough. Because they're beautiful, but man, I just can't justify that. So that's my overrated for the week. Be careful out there, folks. That's funny, man. It's a tough price point. Oh man. How about you, Rob? What you got for overrated?
I'm playing off of you, man. Graded booster packs, man.
Oh,
I know, man. I gotta hit you. Where it hurts. So my friend recently sold a first edition PSA 10, fossil pack for what was like $800 or something like that.
Yeah, I think I netted 725 or something.
Like, that is unbelievable that somebody's willing to pay that much money for a graded pack. And here's the thing, guys, if it was really, really tough to get a PSA 10 for these packs, I could maybe see like the allure, but I've seen some of these condition of the packs where like the wrapper does not look mint whatsoever. The centering on I don't know how they judge them. I don't know how they grade them. I really don't. And you can take
it's interesting. You should read it sometime on PSA's website. It's interesting, but continue.
Oh no, dude, if you have any insight, let me know, because I'm just like, I don't understand anything along the lines, but I will have to dig into it for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Did you want to say anything? Or?
No, I was going to say that I agree with you that the price point that person paid was kind of ridiculous. Because full disclosure, I was playing the Mercari game where I just expect that someone's going to offer me whatever it is, the 10 to 15% below the price. And you have to like drop the price and send offers. And it's a different game than eBay. And this person just bought it. And hey, that's what they wanted. Good for them. But I'm gonna push back on it because of the authentication aspect. So for me, there's some things too where I've even just thought about like that's where the heck did I put it? I'm losing my mind, Rob. Where did I put my pack? I got too much stuff in here. It's probably right in front of my face. I don't know where it is. That's hilarious. There it is.
Oh, good.
So bought this locally, graded it myself, showed this in a video, got a 9, base set 2. I'm a huge Gyarados fan, and I think the base set 2 pack arts are way sicker than any cards you get out of base set 2, like for real. So, and it's long crimp, which there are like the short crimp ones are the ones that were in the boxes. So these are the ones you would have had like check lane, like hanging. It got a 9, not a 10, which it was like on the border, but I knew there was like a slight, one of the air holes like was slightly bigger than it should have been. Like it had almost like opened up a little extra. So I think that's why it got the 9. But I can tell you, me, for the peace of mind, knowing that that's been authenticated by PSA, whatever that's worth, that I think is there's something to be said for the authentication aspect. For like, I wouldn't own like a WotC pack like that long term that's not graded. I just wouldn't, because there's going to be such an ability to make fakes down the road that at least having it slabbed like that is a slight barrier that will help preserve some of its value. Because I think the faking in this hobby is only going to get worse and worse. With Japanese, I don't care about it as much because I'm probably going to open most of them anyway at some point. And like, they're display pieces. Like I don't know. It's a little different for me with Japanese. I've thought about grading some for sure, but yeah, for the WotC era packs, the English, the Shadowless, the first edition, that authentication and encapsulation is worth it to me, in my opinion, to overpay on some of those from market. But that's just me. I like them. I don't know why. I just do.
Oh, dude, it's super valid. I just have a problem that you can buy a pack at $200 and sell it for $800. Not saying like, oh, dude, you suck for doing that. I'm saying that that's what the market is. Like, that's an insane markup.
It's weird, isn't it?
You know, I honestly, like, packs have been kind of selling for around like that 500 to 600 mark for Fossil and PSA 10. Totally fine. You know what I mean? Like, you're right. It's authenticated. It's cool. It's in a slab. It's preserved. It's real. Like, awesome. Doubling the money. That's a good markup, good business strategy. You're still risking to see if it's going to get the 10 or not. But man, going all the way up to 800, like, that's just, I couldn't believe it. And even like on the Japanese side, there's like PSA 8s of like Gym Heroes or Team Rocket that was selling for like $300. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I don't get that one. Those ones I don't get.
It's
the
crazy.
Japanese ones I don't get. Like, the only time I bid on those is if I think for some reason it's going to sell for less than what the ungraded pack goes for, because someone just like thinks it's dumb and I'm just going to crack it.
Right. Absolutely.
And that's what I did with that Mysterious Mountain pack, right?
Oh,
like,
did you end up cracking it?
It's folded. It's coming. It gets here tomorrow. So I've never cracked a slab case. So I need to like really figure out how to do that well. But yeah, I don't get it with the Japanese packs as much. Like, I guess it would be cool in the new style to have all of them, but not at that premium. Like, what do I've been wanting is a first edition Neo Genesis pack graded, and they're freaking pricey, dude.
Yeah, those are sick.
Especially the one with Lugia on it. Yeah. I like that better than like the Lugia card. Like I like that pack art way better.
Like
It's
the
more
Game Boy
like in
promo.
that style of the Game Boy. Yes, exactly. Just
Yeah.
took the words out of my mouth. Yeah.
Sorry, dude.
And
I'm a dick.
I don't know. There's one for like 1250 out there, and I'm just like, like, no, I can't. Like, I can't justify that.
But if you think about it,
like,
that's
I don't
actually a
know.
really good price point comparing it. Cause like unweighed, they're going for like what, anywhere between on the low end 750 to like even who was it, Blast Boost that said he was going to do packs like 1100. And there was people like, yeah, I want
Yeah,
to buy it. That's not that far
yeah,
off from the PSA 10 as compared to like Fossil unweighed. You're looking at like 250, $300, maybe 400. And then you're
yeah.
doubling your money for the PSA 10. Like it's
You
almost
just got to
like,
assume they're lights, though. You
oh
got to
yeah, for
assume they're
sure.
lights.
You have to.
So what a light Neo Genesis first edition Lugia packs go for now. I don't. That's like where I haven't done that spread analysis yet. It was just
Right.
something that popped up for me. Like I threw on my watch list and then got thrown an offer, and I was like, oh, I better look into this. So you're right. The spread might be better on that.
But it's still really expensive because
Still a lot.
anytime you get to that number, like over, 500, you're like, okay, let's
Yeah.
really look at this.
And
stuff.
I know I can probably go to my plug and buy a nice pack that's in pristine condition at a little bit of a premium, but fine. And then grade it myself for, I mean, the $50 tier isn't open right now, but I think $100 at PSA is open, maybe 150. So I've been waiting. I haven't checked recently because I had a pair of packs and then I only ended up grading one. And then I got screwed because they shut down grading and then they made the prices, they got rid of the lowest level. Anyway, so I haven't been checking it because I sold that raw pack, but that ungraded pack. But yeah, I want to check the spread on that. But yeah, the Japanese ones really confuse me. I don't know
like
why.
grading
They
a heavy pack on the
seem
English
weird.
side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. Like the only ones that make sense to me would be like I've thought about grading one of my light base packs.
That would be sick. No, I totally agree.
Just because it would look cool,
Yep.
Like,
I totally agree, man.
you're gonna spend $50 on a nice case anyway, or like 35.
Mhm.
What's $50 instead to have PSA graded? Even if it gets a 9, like that Gyarados pack, right? I was like, I can buy a silver GT display, or I can just grade it.
Yeah.
Why not just grade it? Like,
Yeah.
same difference. It's in the slab. So, yeah, wild. All right, let's hit them with the underrated.
What do you got?
Oh, I got 2 and I'm torn. I think something that a lot of people don't necessarily know about until they see them and remember are the action flips.
Oh,
These
yeah, you were
packs
telling
are
me about
super
those.
cheap. Yeah, they're super fun to collect. They're the lenticular cards. So like I don't know, what's this one?
I thought I saw some
This
graded
one's-
the other day on somebody's page.
Probably. Or I think it's this, it might be the stickers that come in them, but maybe it's these. I haven't
Oh.
looked yet. But like this one's Execute Executor, and they're
That's
they're
sick.
lenticulars. So
Love
yeah,
Executor.
I think they're super cool. They're fun. And they're cheap. You can get packs. Some of the packs come with stickers. There's a in the premiere, or like the first, what do they call it? The premiere edition, which was like the first one. There's like a rare, which is the Moltres. So that's like the one rare. And then there's like 3 or 4 like really like they're like special ones that have like Ash and Pikachu and Team Rocket. And so there's like hits, inside of them. But I just think they're cool. I don't know. I have like a Gyarados Magikarp one because it goes in my collection. Like, and there, I mean, you can get those packs for like a couple bucks, and they're just fun to open once in a while. Like, it is vintage freaking 1999 product that you can get for nothing. And I think that's pretty dang cool, So that's my underrated. I don't think people know about them till they see them, and they're like, "Oh, I remember those when I was a kid." And then they're hooked. So,
dude, totally.
check 'em
I
out,
remember
guys.
when you had brought that up for me. I totally forgot about them.
Yeah.
They're
There's just
cool.
so much stuff when we were kids, Yeah, they're fun. So yeah, I've got another one, but I'll save it for next week or whenever we go next. So what's
Are you
your
sure?
underrated? Yeah, yeah. I need some in the hopper.
All right. Screen share time again, boys and girls. It's that time.
I think there's one girl.
Hey, I know Ashley watches. I know Ashley watches. She's the homie for sure. Christina,
Heck
I know
yeah.
she drops a message sometime. Maybe Sam
Yes,
from
we got
Demonic
two,
Duo.
three.
We got a couple. We got a couple. I'm
That's
sure that there's a
awesome.
few others that I'm Michelle. Yep, starting to come. All right. That's about it. That's all I got.
That's awesome.
Um, let me know when you can see it.
Ooh. Ooh,
Korean
nice pack art or box art.
Korean sealed product. Okay. We talked a little bit about
Hmm.
Chinese earlier. Um, I think in general, a lot of the foreign languages have a ton of room to grow. In fact, I've invested 3 cases of Portuguese Diamond and Pearl base set booster boxes. Not 3 booster boxes, 3 cases, 6 booster boxes each. Came in at about $350 to $450, depending on. I did one deal to kind of feel out the guy, and then I did a bigger deal with a lot, cheaper. I think that foreign languages for certain sealed products, especially around booster boxes, really do have some good room to grow. And here's why I say that. Okay. We have a Korean SM3 AK Shining Legends booster box that's going for $200, roughly. When we look at last sold for the Japanese, look at this, 875 plus the shipping. Come down here, 975, 950. I mean, guys, that's a fraction of the price of what you can get for the Korean product. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's a great way to collect. Look at this booster box. I mean, look at that. I mean, it's a badass box, and it's a really good, affordable way to go about it. Another one that, I've made a post about on Instagram, and I've even bought it. You could see, here's your order details. Even here's, I mean, $36 plus the $5 shipping, a little bit over $40 for an amazing set like that. I mean, it's really good bang for your buck in my personal opinion. And I do think that these foreign languages, they're starting to get a little bit more traction. And over time, I'm not trying to say buy thousands of this stuff and put all your money into it, and this is like the next thing that's going to boom. It's just a cool product that I feel like not a lot of people think about and not a lot of people have eyes on. But as they start to, because everyone's looking for that next thing, they can see how cheap it is, and they're willing to pay 50, $40 like I was and buy 2 or, a little bit, and kind of see it slowly move up. So that's my underrated for the week. The other one was going to be the EX theme decks, but we kind of talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So you kind of got a 2-for-1. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I have
a Korean product.
buddy that my buddy does a lot of analysis on Japanese Pokemon foreign language product, mostly German, French, Japanese, English, and one other language, maybe Korean. Maybe it looks, I forget. But I think it's great. Like, I know, like, Jake from Pokenomics talks about how he bought tons of Korean Yu-Gi-Oh because it was so cheap compared to English Yu-Gi-Oh, and he could just like enjoy it and open a ton of it. So
Right.
I think as a collector, or like someone who just like loves to rip stuff, like if you just love to open packs, like that is a great cheap way to get some
affordable
product for sure. And I like it better than China because I never know if I'm just going to get fake stuff from China. But I do think what's so interesting about these countries is you have to think about like where they are in the cycle of like their economies, right? So are there some emerging market countries that will have a more robust middle class down the road who will have money to spend on this stuff in their native language, right? So you think like Latin America, You think some parts of developing Asia, China to an extent, right? China's an enigma, and it's complicated. But some of the like definitively poor countries, right? Like I don't know, I think of El Salvador where I go every year, or Nicaragua or Honduras or places like that, where like Spanish really intrigues me because I love both. I have a personal bias, like, because I love the language, but also that there may be a broader consumer base down the road for that product. So, as a spec, it's interesting, right? It's a little tougher, it's a little more nuanced, and you have to think about like some of the extra risks involved there.
Definitely.
But certainly as like someone who just wants to open product, or like I think about, like, we've looked at them, like the first edition graded Spanish base set packs. Like I would love to have one of those in my collection.
I made a lot of money off those.
Right, I
bought it. Like 8 heavy packs, and I like tripled my money in a very short time with those base set packs. They're cool, man.
With Spanish.
Yeah. I think Spanish has really come up a lot, but you're right. I feel like when you look at all the base set, I think that Spanish is actually the cheapest one, that or Korean. But I think that the German, French are the next big hitters. I would assume German. Italian's pretty big as well for base set. Chinese,
that's the one I was forgetting, Italian. Yeah.
So
German's crazy. Yeah. I mean, you see some of those PWCC blocks where we got 2,000 graded German cards. I'm just like, holy cats. But my buddy's really into that. I'll share the spreadsheet with you sometime that he does. It's pretty cool. It's really cool. But yeah, I think foreign languages are super interesting. There's just it's like risk on risk though, right? Mm-hmm. Because like we're already in this like weird risky hobby, and now we're like specking on a speculative hobby, right? So, but like, honestly, wealth is created from concentrated bets, right? Rarely is it by being conservative. And I'm very aggressive in other spaces in my life. And I would say just us dabbling in Pokemon from a financial perspective is risk, being risky, right? Like, it's not like there's this spectrum, guys. This is like in the whole nother dimension of risk. It's not even an alternative asset class. It's just a spec, right? So there's certainly more risk there, but it's intriguing. It's super intriguing because it brings in macroeconomics. It brings in socioeconomic dynamics. There's a lot of cool stuff at play. And then if you just like other languages like me, like, it's really cool. Like, I love Japanese. I love the Spanish language. I've spoken it for many years. I don't know. It hits a different part of the nostalgia too, if you have that, right? French, for some of our French Canadian friends I know that might watch. It's cool. So yeah, man.
I kind of, and the reason why I spent, a few $1,000s on those boxes is one. Hold on. One, they just look so good. You know what I mean? Like, that blue just hits.
Those are cool.
The diamond and pearl base set.
Really nice.
They just hit, and they're the same size as English. They look really good. Again, I'm all about how does the sealed product look on display? That's one of my biggest factors. And then 2, I bought a French Call of Legends booster box very early on in the hobby. Rhyme Style had done a video on it. He opened a French booster box of Call of Legends, and the cards were really cool. At the time, the prices were about $350 to $400, somewhere around that price range. And I ended up buying mine at $400. And I just said, you know what? Call of Legends is a great set. There's not a ton of product out there, and I'm just going to hold on to it. I really like the way that the box looked. I ended up selling it a year later for $900. And recently they've been selling for like $2,000. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, and I kind of just said like, well, I kind of see that with Call Legends. Call Legends is definitely way more popular than any Diamond and Pearl set, even though it came after. It's just one of those sets. It's a independent set. It's along that Heart
Yeah.
Gold Soul Silver era, but it's not part of Heart Gold Soul Silver. And so it's a unique set. It's got its own identity. And so I kind of just like started looking at other like booster boxes, like for like really affordable. And these to me were the best bang for the buck. They also have the Portuguese or Spanish Diamond and Pearl mysterious treasures that are selling for like anywhere between like 250 to 300, and that again I think is really good bang for your buck. I think that the base set's a little bit more expensive, but I just kind of thought like, hey, if I've had this experience in the past with other sets, it might have potential to do something. Not saying it's going to go up as high as 2,000 per box, but even if I can like get close to doubling my money, which I really do believe I can over the next few years, especially with Diamond and Pearl Remix coming out very soon here, I think it is going to get more traction. And it already has in regards to the English product, and the Japanese product has gone up a ton. So I just feel like it's kind of like people are looking for that next best option. And a sealed booster box, man, I mean, it's pretty good. So I thought it was low risk for me and with a good, upside reward down the line. So that's part of my under.
Yeah, your dollar at risk is lower, right, on a per box basis. And we saw this, I mean, it's the same thing that happened with Japanese, right? English became unaffordable, so then there was this pendulum swing towards Japanese. And you're right, in some regards people are going to continue to look for the next thing if they just want to be able to open product or do whatever. And like some of these other languages, they offer the same quality or better quality, the same art. At the end of the day, let's be real, most people in the hobby, like once you venture outside of English, it's all the same anyway because they can't read it. So who cares if it's Portuguese or French or Italian? Like, if you've got some cultural tie to one of those languages, it obviously is more meaningful for you. But at the end of the day, it's about like aesthetic, right? So that's why I like Japanese so much, because I think the language in character forms complements the artwork well, in the same way that like some of the other Asian languages do. Some of the and then for me, like Spanish being just like near and dear, it's fun. Some of the Pokemon have fun names in the other languages,
Oh yeah.
Glue Rock, right? Glue Rock is
Charizard
in French, and then Drakafu Drakafu's French.
French.
Glue Rock is German. Maybe.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to think like the Blastoise.
I don't know that one.
Like Tortank or something like that, or it's something funny. It's but cool. Yeah, some of the names are pretty cool for sure. Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Well, hey, I got my cat clawing at my door, which is, I'm guessing, my alarm clock. She's saying, "Hey, I need to eat some food here." So, any last kind of regards you kind of want to say before we kind of wrap up here?
No, this was a super fun episode. I'm truly thankful for everyone that watches and listens to these. And look, we're open books, man. So any of you guys who have questions, we do our best to respond. We do our best to get back to you. We both got crazy lives going on, which maybe we'll talk about in some other episode. But yeah, I just appreciate all of you watching, and feel free to reach out every time. Best thing for me is just to DM me on Instagram, because I can make sure I get back to it later. So thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, I'm so very grateful for each and every one of you, for the 10 people that stuck around this late, this long. Like, you guys are legends. Thanks so much.
Should we tell them a secret? Should we tell them something we're maybe planning on maybe doing, or should we keep it a secret?
Oh yeah. I was like, wait, what are you talking about? Yeah. Give them a little taster. A
little taster. We might, you guys have seen, I've been doing 1 or 2 box breaks on my channel. Rob's been doing a couple breaks on his channel. We might do one together of a set we really love. We're working out the kinks, but Bolo, be on the lookout for that. So
yeah, it'll be fun. Super excited. Connor's got a box break today. I'm pretty sure we're recording this Thursday night. We'll probably drop it Friday. Maybe we'll wait till Monday. I don't know. I got to talk to Con after this, but Connor's got a break today. If it is Friday, the 5th, I got a break tomorrow at Saturday at 1 p.m. PST. If you guys feel like checking it out, I'm sure that you guys are aware, if you're sticking around this long, that you guys are, follow the channel very closely. You guys know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
the true believers in us. So yeah. And then Sunday I'll be on Geeked Out Collecting, and she usually does her podcast live on YouTube or Twitch. Just look at our socials. All our stuff will be there. But yeah, swing through. I know I do, and I know you're setting up that live. Interacting with the live chat is so much fun.
Absolutely.
The people are awesome. I love having folks. Like, I've even started recording videos live just to be able to interact with people. It's super fun. So appreciate y'all. It's been great. So
thanks, guys. Take care as always. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace.